We don't know.
All right, welcome back to the podcast. We're continuing working our way through Genesis.
Lots of stories.
Just looking at these really cool stories. We're gonna look at the Tower of Babel. We got done with Noah, so let's just move on to Tower of Babel. It seems to go.
We're here and all.
Yeah. So we got these people, and from what I can tell, there's quite a few of them. There's a bunch of people.
Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't ever, make sure I'm not missing it, it never really gives a number.
And I imagine that it's and maybe I'm speaking out of turn here, but to me it's kind of like after the flood, you have this group of people that is continue to grow.
Yep.
But they haven't spread out, and they're kind of all still staying in the same spot. And they have this wonderful idea that they need to build a tower.
That reaches to the heavens.
Which I think there was their problem.
Well, yeah, because it says right here, so that we may make a name for ourselves.
Right. So...
Silly little fellas.
Yeah. And whenever you try to make a name for yourself...
God's going to get involved.
Especially if you're trying to make a tower that reaches the heavens. You know what I'm saying? I mean, ultimately, they're pointing it at him.
Yeah.
And I would like to think that... And it's still amazing to me because it's like they've already begun to forget about God.
So fast. So fast.
Or after he's already started out, we already have this progression where it seems that they've kind of, this reverence and respect for God, the fact that he just wiped out the entire earth with the flood.
It's like, hey guys, remember all that water?
Yeah. So now we're back to let's build a tower.
Yeah.
Big old tower.
Yep.
So great. Everybody say great or how wonderful we are.
Yep, and it was so that we may make a name for ourselves. Otherwise, we will be scattered over the face of the whole earth. So they were trying to avoid being scattered.
Right, which is the plan that God had for them.
Correct.
He wanted them to
How
spread
would
out.
that make you not be scattered?
Not sure. It's like a lighthouse.
I can't leave. There's a tower here.
Yeah, that way you don't get lost.
And I think that's probably more accurate than what you think. It's just a giant marker.
Okay.
Oh, hey, look, that's
the tower.
Gotcha.
That's where everybody
I won't get
is.
lost.
It's like navigating Colorado. Mountains that side.
Gotcha. So they were more concerned about just not knowing where they were.
Exactly.
Got it.
That's what we're going to go with.
Okay.
And I think it was supposed to be like a big, I mean, we're not talking like, it was supposed to be a big tower. Big tower.
Well, supposed to reach the heavens.
Which
That's
they
a big
would
tower.
have, which I can see how they would kind of, which part of me says, why didn't God just let them try it?
Well,
How
it
high
sounds
can
like
they make it?
It sounds like he did. Actually, reading this commentary, it says that this tower was likely you guys would know this. You were in my 6th grade history class. It's called a ziggurat, and it's a Mesopotamian temple. I know I taught my kids about it. Anyways,
with a lot of little ziggies running around.
Yeah, sure.
A lot of little ziggy rats.
He might need to go back to 6th grade. And it sounds like he did let him start. Because it says, but the Lord came down to see the city and the tower the people were building. And the Lord said, if as one people speaking the same language they have begun to do this, then nothing they plan to do will be impossible for them.
And the commentaries made a comment on that.
Yep.
Because it's not the fact that it's impossible for them to create or do anything like that.
Right.
It's the fact of what the evils they could do because they were moving together as one people.
Yeah.
And so he was concerned about, see, here we go again.
Mob mentality.
Mob mentality.
You just had to go there, didn't you? But it's like, why? How did we forget about God so quickly? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, but God, and like always, we can make plans, good or bad, and ultimately God has the final say so.
Yeah.
And God says, boop, not going to happen.
Your plan is now void.
Yeah.
And he confuses their language. And so only... And I don't think that he gave everybody a different language. It was different people had a common language. Does that make sense? So you had people like, say for us, you had people who spoke Chinese. Mm-hmm. You had people who spoke English, Spanish. And I'm sure that those groups got together and then they just kind of migrated to...
All right. We all sound the same. Let's go over here.
You are my people now.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
We're all friends, yes?
Yeah.
But it would have been a really interesting moment and maybe a little scary because one moment, I mean,
you wake up in the morning and nobody knows what I'm saying.
Yeah, and you better hope that your wife or your husband was one of those that
gets
can
the
speak
same language as you.
What'd you say? I don't
You
know.
messing with me right now?
Or what if they were working on the tower? What had happened too? Hand me a brick.
Yeah. Hammer? No. Could have been some 0 days since last workplace accident.
Yep.
And you can see how God in His infinite wisdom did it in such a way that it would cause people just to migrate to different
Oh
parts
yeah,
of the world.
yeah. He knew what it was going to do.
Absolutely. And ultimately, there's a lesson in pride here. I mean, why was God, in essence, punishing these people? I guess in some ways, or maybe just speeding up His plan.
Yeah,
I mean, you can
I
look
think
at
he was
it
just
either way.
expediting what he had in mind.
Yeah, but pride will always get you into trouble. And that's what was happening here. They wanted to create a tower that showed how great they were, instead of saying, hey, how great is the God, or our God. You know what I'm saying? And so pride will always get you. And every time I read this story, it just reminds me, you got to be careful that you can't let pride step in. Because when you do, God's got a good way of just knocking you right
back down.
I think he knocked the tower down.
All glory to God.
At least like what was started. I think he's left it.
I wonder how far they got.
Yeah.
That's my real question. I wonder how far
Yeah,
that...
And then like
that
was
too.
it just left there? They're like,
Like, did they just get all the bricks made and they
Yeah.
were just about to start?
right.
Or were they already like 50 feet in the air?
Or
or
was there
something
like
that?
one guy by the tower was like dibs, and then that became their tower?
So,
I mean, it would make
so everybody
sort of
else is just leaving, huh? I guess this is mine?
Or maybe they're like, we need to move away from here because we don't know who else is going to wake up speaking a different language.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
We got to get moving.
We gotta get out of here.
Something's wrong with this thing.
There's
There was
something in
one
the water.
There was one guy who was like, "Raise your hand if it's yours." Ha
But ultimately, the lesson here is just make sure that you don't get in the way of God's plans, and don't let pride get in there.
Absolutely.
Because everything we do should be a reflection of Him and not of us.
Mm-hmm.
And so we got to be careful. Otherwise, God will step in and knock you right back down to where you
Always give the glory to God.
always. So, but it's cool that He scattered the people, because I believe that's why you have all the differences that you have now.
Yeah.
Because He scattered them.
He knew what he wanted,
Yep, absolutely.
so he made it happen.
He did. He did. He made it happen. Don't let pride get in there. All right? Don't be prideful. Okay, see you guys next time.